Now, there's got to be, my opinion, better movement patterns in the bench press. I never, and you're going to probably ridicule me and comment below, I never ever give barbell press for any hypertrophy clients that are looking to build muscle.
Please note, viewer discretion is advised. Oh, that went right through me, that did.
What's up, Governor? Coach Troy Brown, IFBB Pro, apexphysiques.ca, your go-to resource for physique transformation. Today we're talking about problems with shoulders when we're bench pressing, problem with shoulders when we're doing incline dumbbell press, problem with shoulders when we're doing some type of machine press. And I want to give you some ideas today that may help potentially eliminate shoulder pain altogether. Is that a good idea? So people bench pressing, I see a lot of young guys at the gym, and I'm not going to call you out because I don't know what your goals are, so I can't judge you. However, I see you bench pressing a lot, always on the barbell bench press. You're doing a lot of pressing week after week. In fact, every time I'm in the gym, I'm seeing you bench press. Now, there's got to be, my opinion, better movement patterns in the bench press. I never, and you're going to probably ridicule me and comment below, I never ever give barbell press for any hypertrophy clients that are looking to build muscle. Why? I just think it's an overrated movement. A lot of people would agree with me in this situation. Personally, I never really did it in my career. And did you know, back in 2015, I tore my pec actually lifting 225. And the issue first started, I had right problems with my shoulder and right at the front of the anterior. And then I tore my pec in 2015. So I'm here to kind of tell you, don't do what I did and kind of work through and just ignore the pain. There is some movement patterns that you can do to strengthen the upper back area. So the problem is, why are people having issues with their shoulders when they're bench pressing? Well, it's lack of upper back stability. First of all, we need to really think about training and strengthening our trapezius muscle, whether that be the upper traps, but more importantly, the mid to lower traps. Maybe we're weak in the rhomboid area. Maybe we can't retract the scapula when we're training our chest, right? I look at training our chest as a way you would pose on stage. You never see a bodybuilder posing on stage like this, right? With their shoulders coming forward on a side chest pose. They would do it with their chest open, right? So that's how you want to think about when you're training, expanding rib cage, expanding the sternum, expanding the diaphragm, keeping the chest nice and high. So being really proficient at retraction of the scapula, really using the rhomboid, and that's the function, right, of the rhomboid, is to retract the scapula. So the problem is upper back stability, right? We have some weak links going on. And most people would think, well, in order to build my chest, I've got to focus on doing more chest work. I'm actually going to get you to think a little bit deeper. Maybe that's not the issue. Maybe the issue why you got shoulder pain, and maybe the issue why your chest isn't responding like the way you should, is because you're not having enough access towards the back. Maybe the back is weak. The foundation of chest training is being able to have a strong traps, mid to low traps, strong rear delt, strong rhomboid function, even teres major and teres minor, which is external rotation of the shoulder joint, really getting efficient in these positions. You could have weak traps, you could have weak rhomboids, you could have weak rear delts. So what can we do to fix this situation? You see, if your chest is weak or you've got shoulder problems, if we look at a weak muscle, first of all, a weak muscle is basically a muscle that's been trained in a default manner. A weak muscle being trained in a default mode. In order to build a muscle or to challenge a muscle, we have to change the forces it's been subjected to. So if your chest is weak and you keep doing the bench press over and over and over again, year after year, and you're not seeing any results, maybe that's not a good movement pattern for you. Maybe you need to change the forces that you've been subjected to and maybe do something completely different. Maybe it's your form and execution. Maybe your humerus joint's in the wrong position. Maybe your sternum's not high enough. All of these things play a massive difference when you're training your chest. But in regards to chest pain or shoulder pain when you're bench pressing, then that's a whole different manner. Now we've got to look at strengthening the upper back muscles. So if I get Trevor here, we want to be looking at training the rear delt. We want to look at really getting the mid to lower traps stronger and also the rhomboid stronger, and then the rear delts here that I've already mentioned. I think this is the secret to chest training, but also to build a stronger chest and to eliminate any pain or discomfort in the shoulders. You see, when it comes to shoulder problems, I can speak about it because I've got shoulder issues, and a lot of it was caused by overtraining, doing too much heavy shoulder pressing with dumbbells. I actually remember when I first injured my shoulder, I was doing 150-pound shoulder presses, not to brag, not to boast, but that's what caused the problem in the first place. And I never corrected the situation, which has led to having weak teres major, teres minor, poor external rotation of the shoulder joint, internal rotation of the shoulder joint as well. And then maybe lats get tighter. I work at a desk right here. I do a lot of online programming for clients. So you think about it, my shoulders are coming forward, my head's down, and I'm working at my desk. I'm typing a lot. I'm doing a lot of stuff on my phone, on social media. My head's down, my shoulders are rounded, my pecs are fully shortened, my rhomboids are getting lengthened. I get burning sensation in my traps. These are signs your body is screaming out emergency, wake up, we have to do maybe some corrective work. So that's what I'm going to do today, show you some corrective exercises that I'm going to go over with a client here in the gym in a second. I'm also going to teach you some other things that you can do in order to bring up your chest development and get you thinking about less is better. We're not thinking about load. You see, before you can quantify a movement pattern, you first have to qualify it. What that basically means is, what do the reps look like? How good are your reps? You know, one thing to think about when it comes to building chest development, right? We're obviously talking about shoulder pain here when we're training our chest, but let's look at the chest itself, right? If we're looking to build chest, I think what we do as men is that we keep chasing load. We keep chasing more numbers on the bar. We always go back to the bench press. Everybody wants to know, what do you bench press? How much do you bench press? I look at physique development. I don't give a rat's ass about how much load I lift. I did when I was younger, but what I've realized now, being 46, it doesn't matter. We're looking at sculpting the physique. I look at this meat suit, if you will, as a work of art. It truly is. So who really cares how much weight you can bench? And so what if you can bench 315 pounds for one rep? That is not going to correlate to any muscle, right? So if we're looking for muscle building, hypertrophy, then we've got to look at some reps. We've got to look at maybe some tension. We've got to look at stimulating those myofibrils. And you see these guys online, right? No disrespect to them, but they're lifting crazy weights on the incline or on the flat bench, and their chest doesn't grow. It looks the same. So what I'm trying to say is, if you see these guys benching, you may even go online now and go on YouTube and look at all these people that are hurting their chest. What is the movement pattern that they're doing it on? They're always bench pressing, and they're always tearing their pec on the bench press. So that's a sign right there that is it really a good optimal exercise to build chest. If you're looking to build strength, maybe that's for another video, but we're looking at hypertrophy here. We're looking at building muscle. So maybe we have to look at things like challenging the muscle in a stretch position, putting more tension on those myofibrils, challenging the muscles in a stretch position, maybe doing pause reps. I'm a massive fan of pause reps. I think it forces the muscles to work harder. And also I do like higher rep ranges, especially for the mature lifters that are listening. Maybe our days of lifting heavy, maybe our joints, ligaments, tendons, and Golgi tendon organs just can't take the loads anymore. But I'm specifically talking about the men that really want to build muscle here. And I'm not talking about the people that are looking to improve their PRs on their bench. I'm just talking to the people that really are looking to build muscle. So if you're looking at these guys online, you see them, right? Maybe they're using too much PEDs, right? Maybe they're growing on the PEDs, but what you've got to remember is that the PEDs are maybe making the muscles bigger and rounder and fuller, but they're not making the connective tissue. Maybe they're not making the ligaments and tendons stronger and the Golgi tendon organs stronger. So this is why things are breaking down, right? Maybe you're in a dehydrated state when you're training. Maybe you're not drinking any fluids. And I think maybe you got to look at using some type of pre-exhaust formula. Instead of always chasing loads and numbers and trying to go heavier and heavier, yeah, that's important with good form and execution, right, which I was talking about earlier. But instead of chasing load all the time, maybe we need to look at doing some pre-exhaust. Maybe start with a fly as your first movement for chest, pre-exhaust the muscles. Then at that point, when you move on to a compound movement for chest, the muscles don't know if you're lifting 400 pounds or 135. So my point is that I think a pre-exhaust formula would be very beneficial to you to include it in your training, as well as chasing load and chasing numbers on the bar. Let's take you into the gym. I've got a client I'm working with, Matt. He's doing great with me. We're really working on bringing up his chest development. And I'm looking for him to get really strong and proficient in the rhomboid, in the rear delt, in the traps, the mid to lower traps. So we're really working on scapular retraction, and we're doing a lot of banded assisted work to help him get stronger in those bottom positions so he can handle more load and also get a lot more foundation in his training, because that's the base, right? The foundation is the back. If we want to bring up our chest or we want to eliminate pain, we've got to work on the root cause, and the root cause is at the back, is at the bottom. It is the rear delt, it's the rhomboid, it's the mid to lower traps, the teres major, teres minor. We got to get these muscles stronger. All right, so now we're just changing the elbow path. We're keeping the elbows a little bit more closer to the sides. Keep working against the band, that's it. Diaphragm, sternum up. Squeezing the shoulder blades at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, chest, good chest. 1, 2, expanding rib cage. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just mimic the bench press. Retract the shoulder blades at the top. Sternum up, chest up at the top. Expanding rib cage there. And expand. Expand. 3 left. Nice straight arms. Okay, governors, so now that we've got some exercises in the gym to do, pre-chest workout or pre-shoulders, pre-back training, we also need to do some corrective work at home. So what you can do in the evening while the missus is watching TV, as an example, you can get some bands and you can work on external rotation. Very simple. What I like to do is just go into an isometric and pull the bands apart, keeping the elbows and the humerus in adduction. Pin the elbows into the side and hold for 12 seconds. As you do 3 sets of that, you can also rip a booty band and you can go into band pull aparts, activate the rhomboid, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and thinking about activating the rear delt. You can also go into, this is the key one, so you can go into a regular booty band and you can go into or use a heavy resistance band. This is a heavy one, as you can see. And then what we're going to do is just go into external rotation. But keep that shoulder or keep your upper arms pinned into your sides, hold for 12 seconds. Usually do 3 sets there. You can also do spider crawls up the wall. Now this is the one that gets me. I was telling you guys about the teres major, teres minor, right? Trying to get into external rotation. So this one's the key. So I'm okay here, but where my problem is, as soon as I go into shoulder flexion, here's the difference. This is my good arm, and this is my not so good arm. This is the injured shoulder, which is where I tore the muscles on. My long-term goal is to get my forearm in a straight line. As you can see, that's all I got. So there's a couple of things we can do here. What we can do is, with our good arm, is stabilize one end and then focus on external rotation. And you can go into reps, and you can also go into isometrics and just hold that position. As you can see, I'm very, very weak. And I think this is the problem why so many men are getting injured or why they got tight shoulders. Yeah, obviously, we've got poor scapular retraction, we've got weak rear delts, we've got weak lower traps, mid traps, but more importantly, we've got weak teres major, teres minor. So we have to work on these positions here. So my least favorite one, and I know I need to do it more, is this sucker. This one sucks. So I'm going to try and get my shoulder in flexion. So I'm trying to get my elbow in line with my shoulder joint. And once I get that position on both sides, what I'm looking to do is externally rotate and then push this way and then work against the band. As you can see, this is not easy. And I'm trying to do 12 seconds, maintaining an upright vertebrae, bracing my core, keeping my spine erect without going into hyperextension. I'm just trying to keep very, very upright and then hold that position for 12 seconds, rest for about 30 to 60 seconds, do 3 sets of 12-second isometrics. This is really good corrective what you can do on your days off when you're not training. So then when you go back into the gym, you should feel a lot more confident in your benching, whether you're doing the barbell, which I don't recommend doing if you've got shoulder problems, but you can do obviously dumbbells and machines and so forth. The thing that you need to focus on more is doing pre-exhausting techniques to do an isolation movement before you train chest, get a ton of blood in the chest, and then that way that will stop you from lifting heavy weights when you go onto your compounds. So here's another good one, external rotation while you're lying on your side, pin the elbow into the side, adduct the shoulder, and off you go. As you can see, the range of motion isn't that great, but if you keep going consistently, daily, it will improve, it will get better. And I usually do about 3 sets of 15 reps on each side. This is a great one to do also pre-chest workout and pre-shoulder workout, even pre-back workouts as well. 3 sets of 15 now. Okay, governors, this is called the bottoms up external rotation. This one's a doozy. What I love about this one is it helps to stabilize the shoulder joint because you're using a kettlebell, first of all. Secondly, it also helps to strengthen the rotator cuff. And thirdly, it helps to strengthen the supraspinatus. The main thing you want to focus on here is keeping an upright posture, brace your trunk. You don't need a ton of load here. Focus on quality, not quantity. Around about 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. If you know anybody that has any shoulder pain, pass on this video. Don't forget to subscribe, get them to subscribe, and more videos like this coming down the pipeline. Cheerio, governor, all the best.